Real Talk with the RN Diva and Pastor Robert podcast. Now streaming on X and wherever you podcast. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Real Talk with the RN Diva and Pastor Robert. I'm Pastor Robert, and now we have our host back, the RN Diva. Come on. Let's give us some love.
Here I am.
How you been doing?
I'm special. I'm good. Shoot.
Good.
Going through a little something. When the sirens was on in the beginning, I had to look behind me just in case. So
what you been doing that you feel
what I say it on, not doing it.
It has been quite a long time since we've been back on here. You've been having some projects. You had some.
It has.
Project and it's a personal family
stuff
for you. Thank you all for praying for the Diva, but she's back and I'm back, and we have a lot that we're going to be covering tonight on this very special Christmas podcast. And again, we're so glad to also have all of you listening to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, on YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and also Spotify and iHeartRadio. And very soon, Diva, guess what? We're showing excerpts of the podcast on the Daily Gospel Network.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
But we'll make most of it for the COG Equity podcast, but there will be some segments, and of course, especially the Ask the RN Diva segment, because I love to hear what the Diva has to say about what's going on in her opinion about what's going on in the world of health and medicine. She doesn't give advice, but I tell you what, her opinion's been pretty good.
Pretty good. Dead on.
Dead on.
Period.
So you want to right now, everybody share this right now. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend, tell a phone, telegraph. It's time for a Real Talk with the RN Diva and Pastor Robert. Diva, you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, let's get this thing. Now, here's a story that the Diva found. It's heard about, and when I saw it, heard about it, I was appalled because I could not understand how someone could be so idiotic and do something like this. This is a story about a lady named Diana Zavala who decided she was going to have a baby, in a gas station bathroom toilet. Did you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hit it.
So here's the story here now, and let's see. We'll come back with your commentary.
Tragic of who turned out to be Lopez leaving the store with blood on her legs. Police say she wasn't identified until a tipster called in this week after seeing Lopez on the news. Documents say she was interviewed after her arrest, stating she came to the store after feeling sick at a party, gave birth in the bathroom, and flushed the toilet. Police allege she never attempted CPR or life-saving measures.
It is just tragic that it's played out the way that it has.
Something many feel could have been avoided for the baby's sake.
Just have to reach out and get, and look for resources. We do have options to help.
And at this point, Lopez is charged with felony tampering or fabricating physical evidence. No word on when she'll be back in Houston following her arrest again down on the border in Brownsville. Right now, the medical examiner's office has yet to release the cause of death for that baby.
Well. Here we go. Now, that's a horrible story. And that story now, Fox 26 in Houston has the story where Houston woman sentenced in death of a baby girl left in a gas station toilet. Diva, you want to share that with us? Read that story?
Well, first of all, let me give a shout out to my people, Diana Guadalupe Zavala Lopez. You can't leave out the other name. You know, my inner Guadalupe is reaching out to her right now because you know I love me some Mexican food. But anyway, I digress. So, sad part about this whole thing is it's probably going to happen a lot more because of what the climate change and with the politics and everything and what they're trying to do. It's going to happen quite a bit more. So I'm going to get used to that, and so should you. She pled guilty to tampering with evidence, which is the human corpse, in connection with she delivered back in April of 2023. Now, surveillance footage showed her going into the bathroom where she gave birth and left the deceased infant. But here's the thing. I'm pulling my Judge Boyd out. So here's the thing. A lot of these girls that have had children or that are, you know, a couple good tacos or whatever, and you're going to gain a little bit of weight. Yeah. So you got a couple tacos, and listen, I was just in Austin for 2.5 weeks, and I'm trying to tell you, I look like I might be pregnant because I ate every burrito and taco that came across my face. She said she didn't know she was pregnant. Okay. No. That's possible. And grown ass women, I said it, grown ass women have used the same excuse. My mic is giving me issues. Have used the same excuse. So
wow.
It could either be ignorance or just plain denial. And it could be a little bit of both, but it happens, and it's going to happen more and more when abortion is not going to be available, or you're having young people whose parents will kill them if they find out that they're pregnant, and the boy who got them pregnant. So I'm not surprised by this. My heart actually goes out to this young lady. She's got to go to prison. But here's another thing. If you're going to do it to one, I want you to send every last one of them to prison. That's not a place for prison. It's not like the one girl who had the baby and she buried the baby in the backyard. She knew what she was doing and made a makeshift memorial back there. Her daddy cutting grass and everything, and see the angel sitting by the tree. He don't even know what's going on, but she knew what was going on. She should serve time. This young lady, I'm not convinced that it was malicious intent. Yes, she should be punished, but it doesn't mean that she needs to go to prison. You know, but my heart goes out to her, and I hope she gets the help that she needs, because she's going to need therapy. You're giving birth in the bathroom. You do know that once you give birth.
Go ahead. I got a question for you.
You ain't never gave birth. I'm just saying.
Well, but go ahead.
But you know, when you deliver a baby, it's just not hanging around in there. It's connected to your placenta, so it's the umbilical cord.
Thank you.
So, and the sad part about that is, and you got to be extremely careful, these young ladies out there, any young lady at the sound of my voice, please hear me. When you are doing these type things and you deliver in the bathroom, everything else, just forget about it and just let everybody know. Call the ambulance, because you can bleed to death. The placenta is full of vessels. You can bleed to death, and quite quickly. Mm-hmm. So I would not suggest, if you see that it's a baby, call 911. At this point, the damage is done. The damage is done, and the baby probably was exposed to alcohol or whatever. She said she was at a party. So, you know, stranger things have happened.
Here's and you kind of answered the question, but let me show you what it says here in the records. The court record says she never attempted to check the infants for signs of life. She cleaned herself of blood and used a mop from outside to attempt to clean the restroom. She never attempted CPR or pulled the baby from the toilet. The 25-year-old, this wasn't a baby, a child, crashed and drove home. My issue is this. Again, I've never had a baby, but I got children's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. But listen, I've never get. But here's the thing about it.
Sure, he got a starting lineup. Oh, go ahead.
Like you said, the placenta. You got the umbilical cord.
Mm-hmm.
How did she cut the umbilical cord? In the bathroom.
And it's tough. It's tough. Like it's the consistency of it. It's tough. It's not. You have to cut it with something sharp. Did she go in the bathroom with something?
See, those are the things.
So many questions.
Yeah, that's the thing and I think that's why it was good that she was sentenced, because at some point she may not have known she was pregnant, but when that baby came out, it came out alive, we're presuming. So that way, okay, I'm having a baby, this baby's alive, but to just leave it in the toilet?
I don't think she should do time in a prison. I think that she maybe do house arrest or attend counseling and classes. I do not believe. But one thing that is sticking very, very close to the forefront of my brain is she used the mop from outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question.
Yeah,
was she gonna let them know that she used they mop? Because now when he go to mop, spill on aisle 3, he got baby contents all over.
I'm assuming the restroom was one of those outside gas station bathrooms, because how you gonna walk through the store? Well, no, she didn't walk in the store.
She was in the store.
That's right. She walked in the store.
But my thing is, she put it back in the bucket and dipped. And he in there clean up on aisle 3.
Hot meat in there wondering what's going on. Huh?
Anyway. I swear we need to be separated. But I'm just saying, y'all, my cousin is my best friend because he gets my ugliness, my foolishness. But I'm saying that's nasty.
Rasul, what's going on in here? What's going on here?
Okay.
Oh,
Jesus.
It's good to have you back. But
anyway. So it's a wonder. But you know what? It's Brownsville is right there at the border. All kinds of foolishness going on. And what I'm gonna need every convenience store in the area to check your bucket and your mop. So clean up on aisle 3. It's not a placenta puddle. You don't want those problems in your life.
No, you don't want that to happen. That is not something to happen in your. And then wait. Let's go a little further. Roll
it back.
Let's go a little further. It said after she did all of that, she still went to the party. Now,
come on, Guadalupe.
Come on, now you didn't even go home and bathe.
She ain't bathe.
She had.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a BAZE. You hear me?
That's why they say in the country.
So she don't, and that's another thing. She could bleed out at the party.
Yeah.
These girls. You know, she was
just drain it.
The cha-cha slide, and then everybody gonna be sliding over placenta puddles. You know, it was some good Mexican music there too. I should have went.
Good food. But don't you think somebody would have smelled her? No, I'm not trying to be gross. Blood smells.
No, nobody smelled her. Have you been around a you know, I'm finna say it. You know, when the little bus pull up at the convenience store when they're coming out the field from picking stuff. Have you ever smelled them people when they were?
They smell like outside.
Right. They're very right.
12:30 in the morning, but right. That's what I'm saying. So somebody would, I don't know. But it's sad. But you may be right. Sometimes prison isn't always
the answer.
You can be recidivist and you can come back out. Some people don't get reformed; they get refined with their crimes. But she definitely is going to need some counseling, some therapy.
Because you got to teach her that you can't do that. There's a reason why you can't do that.
Yeah. And I wonder now this is Texas. So Texas, I don't know if they will. Well, yeah. But now you made a comment about not being able to have an abortion. No, abortion's not bad. Abortion's not bad. It's left up to each state. So
Right, it's up to each state, but it has a lot to do with a lot of men trying to worry about my innards and what I do with my innards. You understand me? You don't have a breast, a tit, a nipple. You don't have a uterus, an ovarian.
Right. That's why it goes back to the states, and men are not the only politicians. So men and women elect their elected officials that's going to vote and legislate what.
And 9 times out of 10, if it's a female that's going to get, because whole dusty behind ain't got no kids, and I don't have any kids, but I will still fight for abortion rights because it's my hoo-hoo, not yours.
Right. I don't have one, so
yeah. Praise the Lord. Is there an applause button?
It went off. But listen, it's really sad. But
if you did.
But if you know what, here's the thing about it. If she being down there by the border, right there at the border, she may have been illegal and got scared.
Could.
If she got arrested, she was going to get deported. So that's why she freaked out. She still should have gone home and bathed, but nonetheless. But
it's the bathing what's bothering you. It is the bathing that is bothering you.
I believe so, because if she already went we'll say at least 36 weeks or so, and had the baby, didn't know it, she's pregnant. As much as a woman's body goes through all these different changes to each trimester, if she didn't know that, she definitely needs some education, some therapy, in whatever case, because otherwise,
They said she drove home.
She drove home to come. No, she drove to the party, but she could have been on board.
The 25-year-old left the gas station and drove home.
Okay, so maybe she did bathe.
But you're right. Maybe because of the proximity.
She left the party.
She left the party. Correct. Maybe the proximity of where she is from is a huge indicator that she doesn't have the education, or she was afraid of what law enforcement will do, because that's the majority of those people. They're undocumented.
Brownsville is very overloaded with tens of thousands of illegal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, well, I can get the fear. Now, we don't get into politics too much on here, but the new guy that's going to be over the border, Tom Homan, he is planning on starting ground zero in New York and in Chicago. I think they're they're starting off with the legals that are criminals that are in prisons and jail that already committed crime. They're going to start them first. Then they'll go to next on the list. So now I've already, as a side note, you were saying this is going to continue to happen. Maybe it won't to a large degree, because it's been reported that some people are already starting to self-deport. Let me go for this.
They like, before they send me, let me just dip. Because I wasn't aware of that. Really?
Yeah, because one of the first executive orders that's being planned on being signed is on January 20th at 12:01 will be to begin the process. So, and the New York mayor, who has about 100,000 illegals in there, they've been taking care of. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, the black brother, he's already said that he will assist. Now, the Chicago mayor said he's going to fight it. But all the blacks in Chicago are mad with him because they've been taking all the funds for the inner city and using it to house the illegals and feed the illegals. So there's going to be some type of, come January 20th, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there's going to be some drama going on. So, but let's say a prayer for this young lady, all jokes aside, because clearly something's wrong. Something's
not connecting. Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, it's not connected. And so put your comments down below. I'll be interested to see what you have to say about this, and and see what the Diva said. You heard me say she did go home, so I stand corrected. She went home and took a bath.
That's right. She went home and washed. She went home and bathed.
She needed soap.
It's and looking at the picture of her, it looked like her midsection was quite bulbous, if you will. So maybe she just had you and I be going back and forth with these words. Maybe she just thought she'd had one or two.
I don't know, but if she doesn't know, that means she's gonna be on Maury if he would have kept the baby. Because
Ain't Maury dead?
See, she's not a small girl. She's not a big girl either.
No, she thicker than a Snicker. So she's look like she kind of big bone like me. So yeah. Yeah. So poor thing. I think Maury Povich died, Dana.
He did? No.
Oh no. Let me Google it because you sure he married to Connie Chung.
Yeah, now Connie Chung looked like she did, but he's not.
Ooh, now you need to pray about that.
Woo! Listen, thanks for tuning in right now. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with more of Real Talk with the RN Diva Christmas special. This is Pastor Robert of the RN Diva. We'll be right back right after this message. How important is it to take proper care of your skin? Now, in my opinion, having a clean and healthy skin is something every guy really should focus on. But here comes the question. What is the right product for me? Teej Hanley, an uncomplicated skincare company for men. Get your first box, 40% off plus a free gift, and 20% off for life at Teej.com/TheRCTVNetwork. That's TIEGE.com/TheRCTVNetwork. All right, we're back. Thank you for watching Real Talk with the RN Diva. Please be sure, and Pastor Robert, please be sure to share this right now. We're live right now on X. We're live also on YouTube and Facebook. And again, wherever you podcast. We have another story, Diva. This segment will be brought to us by Teej Hanley. As you heard that, get your first box, 40% off. Don't you see how good I look? See how smooth my skin is and all that stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you click that link,
I like that skincare line. I like that skincare line. I've been seeing a lot of people use that, especially men of color. But because men of color got to be careful with the little black dots on their nose, especially if you're walking past me, because I'll be wanting to squeeze. So clean those pores. Get that greasiness up off you.
Yeah.
Oh, I love popping a good bump. Oh my goodness.
I hate that. So listen, uncomplicated skin. Ew, you was pussy. You was pulling the push out of it. Anyway, so you don't have to worry about RN Diva popping the bumps on your face and all like that. Click the link down below down in the description, and your first box should get 40% off and help support here at the RCTV Network. And you get 20% off for live. That's teejhanley.com/RCTV-network. Now, our next story, I've been waiting for this because let me give you a hint. This is one of your favorite subjects that you love to talk about. Ready for it? That's right. It's time to talk about
Lil Wayne.
Superman. Here. Go ahead, Steven. Go ahead.
You go ahead with your little friend. That is listen, no ma'am.
Ooh,
no, sir.
Yeah. We're gonna see if she's gonna come on the line tonight. Tiffany. Come on to comment, please. For those of you who are not familiar with Tiffany, we're gonna take a few minutes and give you a background. She is the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. All right, but she's also the supervisor of the township of township. Yeah, she can't referee the election, so yeah, she lost that job. And what happened is, being over those two, the township actually has 18 communities within it that she oversees, making her salary over $200,000. Let's go back, because even though she's being investigated by the FBI and she has 9 lives, she will not die. Okay, but let's get you. Will
not die. She like a cockroach.
I know, a cockroach in the project. But listen, what happens? Let's watch this video right now. For those who are not familiar with her, you will be amazed, and then we're going to catch you up. Fast forward to what is happening right now with Tiffany, Superman injured. Love it. What's that? Where's that?
On a black woman that's empowered, Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Dalton's difficulties got worse in recent weeks with water main breaks. Henyard blames on trustee budget cuts. Then 4 people were shot and injured last week, leaving nerves frayed and Henyard's opponents pointing out her sizable security detail.
It's unfortunate that politics are being played, but what has happened is $1 million out of my budget has been cut because of politics.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work, no work.
Tiffany Henyard considers herself something of a crusader, but one who's clearly annoyed by questions from a rebellious group of Dalton trustees who are in a standoff with her over spending.
At the end of the day, vendors are not being paid. Board approved it. The vendors are not being paid.
How about you be a good leader, bring RFPs to the forefront, so not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
WGN Investigates has cataloged tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars spent on trips, meals, and more by Tiffany Henyard and her allies in Dalton and on the Thornton Township Board, where she's the supervisor. Township credit card records show Henyard and other officials spent more than $67,000 on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class. So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, Henyard and her team stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill came to $13,000. Henyard has refused to explain the specific purpose of the trips or why they travel in such style.
Oh, we know why they travel in style, because the taxpayers died. Isn't that right?
That's sad. You know what? You gaslighting me because you know I can't stand this woman. Listen, this was the perfect opportunity for a woman of color to lead the way, to be above board, to show how it's supposed to be done. She has come in over there, those poor people, and turned that whole place into a shit show. The sad part about it is it was the hot ticket and everybody was in Dalton. Now it's dying off. It's only a few podcasters are covering it, but it still needs to be, things need to be done. Those poor people, they're living in hell. Whatever happened to Lacey?
He got fired because he got fired, and but
didn't he keep showing up?
Yeah, he's hanging around, but he's not getting paid.
He's slow.
And then the thing about it, but the guy she hired as the new police chief, he was from another township.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself,
more than Lacey. So they actually had to rescind.
He's worse than Lacey?
Yeah. His son used to be work for another department, and his son had gotten in some trouble, and so he covered up whatever the son did instead of investigating and so on. So he one of those old cats. So yeah. So she seemingly attracts people that are troublemakers like her. So that's who she hires. That's who she likes. She doesn't do background checks. She doesn't care. So when all of this has been going on for the last couple of years, since 2021, 2022, what happened was the former mayor of Chicago, Beetlejuice, what's her name? Lori Lightfoot. Yeah, Lightfoot. So they call her, some people call her Beetlejuice. But
not nice.
You look at her.
Not nice.
But she was recently voted out of being the mayor of Chicago. So Lori Lightfoot was brought in at $400 an hour to come in and do an independent investigation. And Tiffany didn't like that too much, but nonetheless, let's catch you up on that, and then you're going to really get to what's going on right now.
Lightfoot starts her new role as special investigator for the village of Dalton tomorrow. She will be launching a probe into Henyard's mishandling of village funds. A trustee tonight says the village is more than $7 million in debt. Henyard last month vetoed calls for an investigation into herself, but that was overturned tonight. Lightfoot has also been asked to investigate a work trip to Las Vegas last year, which resulted in a former employee alleging she was sexually assaulted by a village trustee, then fired for speaking up. That trustee was one of two not in attendance tonight, along with Henyard. The move to hire Lightfoot was made by 4 village trustees who say they are looking to take their community back. Lightfoot starts her new role as special investigator for the village of Dalton tomorrow. She will be launching a probe into Henyard's mishandling of village funds. A trustee tonight says the village is more than $7 million in debt. Henyard last month vetoed calls for an investigation into herself, but that was overturned tonight. Lightfoot has also been asked to investigate a work trip to Las Vegas last year, which resulted in a former employee alleging she was sexually assaulted by a village trustee, then fired for speaking up. That trustee was one of 2 not in attendance tonight, along with Henyard. The move to hire Lightfoot was made by 4 village trustees who say they are looking to take their community back. Lightfoot starts her new role as special investigator for the village of Dalton tomorrow. She will be launched.
Because here's what happened after that. Tiffany was up for re-election, okay? And for the Thornton Township. But they have to do a caucus and all like that. You have to go through the nominating process. She played some games. This is just a couple weeks ago. She played some games with the meeting location and all like that. She tried to, sometimes she tries to have her own meeting somewhere else, but it wasn't big enough, so they were actually having the meeting somewhere else, and she showed up late. And when she showed up late, she found out that she was not going to be on the ballot for the election.
Ooh, yes, this makes me happy in my spirit. Go ahead with it.
Here's the video that shows that. Stand by. Yeah, this is a good one here. This one, yeah, you're going to like this one. You're going to like this one. Check this out.
The motion has been seconded. All in favor of the Napoleon Harris slate being nominated for the April 1st consolidated. I nominate myself.
What happened, Tiffany? What happened?
Here's what she said before the caucus began.
They can't beat me. If they could beat me, they would have went to the polls.
What do you do tonight if you don't get the Democratic Party's nomination?
What do you mean? I will be victorious tonight. You will see. My people are here. They're not going to go nowhere. The show will go on.
Her allies now figuring out their next steps.
This is the biggest. This is the biggest. This is fraud.
So, Diva, that was a couple of weeks ago. So she's suing now. She's suing to be able to get on the ballot of the Thornton Township because that's her $230,000 a year salary that she's going to be missing. Go ahead. Did you see her face? She looked like a polecat that was scared running from her.
Listen, she doesn't deserve government cheese. She need to stop. This was a blessing in disguise that she was not able to get put on that ballot because this lady is not. She is not for the people.
No,
she is not for the people. She's for Tiffany. I don't even see her loving on her kid. That poor child needs to be with her mother. Stay home with her. Bake some cookies or something. I'm glad she's not on the ballot. But somehow, some way, that trickster is going to figure it out to get on the ballot. She's going to do the boohoo crocodile tears. I'm a woman. I'm a Black woman. Have pity on me.
Here's the thing about it. She's not spending time at home with her daughter because the home that she's leasing, she's about to
I thought she owned it.
No. The house she owned a few years ago, she put on Section 8 and she didn't pass the inspection, so she lost that. This house she's leasing with her living boyfriend, and a daughter, but she hadn't been paying
the married one, the married boyfriend.
Yes.
I'm just here for I'm just here for the commentary.
Yeah. Let Ninja there. Let Ninja there. So that's what's going on. So she's been suing, and now there's going to be soon. She's going to be having the election for the Dalton mayor. So she's already losing.
She's already on that ballot.
I mean, she's automatically on that one, the way that's set up. But she made out the votes. Jason House and then that other guy are planning on running. Two of the trustees, and one was former trustee. So as of today, as of this week, there's another situation that has happened where she made some appointments, but the court has blocked those appointments. You hear me? The court blocked those appointments. So
she can't just appoint people just because she liked the way they look. Because if that's the case, she wouldn't be in no office.
Yeah, so she's definitely got problems going on here. So let's see what this says. This is also from this Fox, WBBM News Radio, 780 and 105.9 FM. Court blocks Dalton mayor appointments. A court has blocked embattled Dalton mayor Tiffany Henyard from making appointments to key positions in the South Suburb. Cook County Judge Thaddeus Wilson has voided Mayor Tiffany Henyard's appointments of a village administrator, because she got a new administrator, and a police chief, the one I told you about, and a village attorney in Dalton. Trustees in the Dalton had filed a complaint against Henyard, saying that she didn't have the authority to fill those jobs without their advice and consent. Because she is a one-woman show. She's the mayor.
More like a one-woman a wrecking ball.
Yeah. So nonetheless, the Judge Wilson says Henyard's lawyer failed to file an answer to that. The permanent injunction entered this week says she cannot, Rodney Burge, that gentleman I told you about, cannot be police chief. It also says Michael Smith, Henyard's choice for village administrator, who also
can't even read. Isn't that the one that said?
Yes, that's him.
And he spelled it. What was he spelling?
He couldn't spell.
Dot.
Wait a second. Wait. Now, come on. Don't just get on him. Because let's be for real now. Tiffany can't talk.
Speak. I'm going, listen, she can't speak. But he was saying something about D-O-T-T. Sir, that is not how you spell dot. Oh, it was 3 letters, sir. All you had to do was show up and say 3 letters.
And that's who she wanted to be the administrator. So the judge said that he could not be the administrator. And then also the village attorney. Let's see. Henyard and the trustees have been at odds since questions were raised about her spitting and leadership. She's also the Thornton Township supervisor and under fire there too. So Tiffany's just not having a good week.
She's not having a good week. Sound like somebody else last week said, she's not having a good day.
So you know what tickles me is how people will get court orders. They will get court orders and then turn around and do whatever the heck they want to do.
Completely disregard the court order.
Yes. Show complete contempt for the court. And then
again.
Yeah. So anyway, put your comments down below, because this is the story that just keeps on giving and giving and giving and giving. Tiffany Henyard. Now wait a second. Let's remind everybody, for those who don't know, those who want to be refreshed, and those who don't know. By the way, she's also under FBI investigation still.
Oh, we forgot that little tidbit, that little morsel. Yeah.
The reason why we play that, ladies and gentlemen, is because Tiffany Henyard looks almost just like Lil Wayne's twin sister.
And I would like to put a disclaimer out there. I want my sisters to be able to do what they please when they please, but you need to use discretion. You need to look at yourself and say, do all very dark, beautifully chocolate women, are they all okay to wear blonde wigs? Leave the blonde wigs.
The blonde wigs. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them?
They're not for every dark-skinned, dark-hued individual. Be careful with those platinum wigs. Just be careful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this public service announcement brought to you by Diva. You blacking in this shirt and you got black hair. Who's cultural appropriating? You trying to be like
Karen?
Karen? Or are you trying to be like, or is that your natural hair?
Listen.
Wait.
She just doesn't look attractive with that. And she swears remember when she would get on here and try to come after me? I'm not gonna ask. Is that the hair for the bald head lady? Oh, bald head lady got. And I don't care how many times you get your hair done, you still look like somebody got hit in the face with a 2x4.
Available at your local hair store.
And please do me a favor, folks. When you get ready to go to church in the car with your husband, please have your wig on straight and make sure there's no lint in your wig. Folks, I'm gonna have these outbursts because my mind is on some stuff, and I just want to get it out. I want to get it up off my chest.
Get it off, baby. Be serious.
Oh, there's yet more to come.
We went off on that one, but yeah, the blonde hair and you blacking in this shirt, ladies, it does not look natural. Comment down below on that or Tiffany Hilliard. I'll be interested in what you have to say about this story.
When are you going to let me up off this story? When are you going to let me off of this woman, period, where I don't have to think about her?
I'm not going to stop until she stops.
Oh, so I'm going to be doing this until I leave this planet?
Well, either that or until she go to prison.
She's still going to be acting a fool in prison, and somehow you're going to find a way to find her.
Listen, when I go to see my good friend real soon, Reverend Ray Lewis Thornton, who lives down in Southern Illinois, I'm going to make sure, say, Ray, please take me to Dalton. I want to stand on the ground of Dalton to see, and hopefully I will run into her, to Tiffany, Superman. So that's all I want.
Like me, I'm going to have to go with you, and I have got to meet Dr. Ray.
You got to share some bail money if you go.
Yeah, well.
She's going to try to put you in jail in her jail. Oh,
you know what happened to the last person that was in jail?
Ooh, and some getting ready to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I want them all. They should remember. Do they still have paddy wagons?
Yeah.
Back it up. Back that thing up, and just all of them need to get up in there.
Anyway, look at my dog. He over here looking like, what's going on here? There's a comment down below. We're going to stay in this theme here about Black women in leadership who are not not so much having a good day. So put your comment down below. You're listening to and watching Real Talk with the R in Diva and Pastor Robert. We'll be right back right after this. Hey there, this is Pastor Robert the second, and I'm so glad that you joined me here. I have something I want to let you know. You see how high gas is? You see we have a baby formula shortage. We also have food that's high. Inflation is high. What is going on? Well, things may get worse before they get better, and you need to be prepared. Go to preparewithrobert.com. Go to preparewithrobert.com. Brought to you by Patriot Supply. Get emergency food kits right there for 2,000 plus calories a day. You're going to need that. It's brought to you by my Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithrobert.com. Don't be left behind. Be ready now. Let's go. Welcome back to Real Talk with the R and Leaving Pastor Robert. And there goes the R and Diva in all her glory and all her wisdom and all her comical.
I don't be trying to be funny. I just have things in my brain that I need to get out in enough room.
Yeah. It's been a while. You gotta get it out. You gotta get it out. Like you gotta get it out. You got to get it out. Listen, this segment is being brought to you by the COG Equity Podcast. That's our podcast we do on Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about all things with church, equity, scandals, interviews with ministers, and a lot that's going on in the denomination, the Pentecostal, traditional Pentecostal denomination, the Church of God, but also Church of God of Christ and other things. That's on Monday nights, on wherever you podcast are here on this platform, Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And also soon, starting in 2025, it will be on the Daily Gospel Network. So stay tuned for information about that, and you're going to be blessed by that. You won't always see the Diva on there because, the Diva keeps a little spice in the church folk. They won't be able to handle that too much, but it's okay. That's okay. That's why we have this podcast.
Baby, if you know like I know, you keep me whoa!
They'll be emailing saying, is she saying no, she's not. Are you? Listen, are you saying, do you know Jesus? Do you know him? Anyway, let me stop. I'm not gonna preach it. Listen, now, talking about people, Black women in leadership, we have another. I call her my fanny pack. That's what I call her. I call her my fanny pack. That's my fanny pack. I call her my fanny pack. And let's see what's happening. She's not had some. She hasn't had a good week.
This lady has ruined her whole reputation over what? I hope the D was. I hope that vitamin D was worth it.
Nathan Wade. Lionel from Lionel Meter calls him the garage door lover because when she wasn't living at her house, she was staying at that other place. Her friend's place, and he had a garage open. He would drive his car in and just put the little thing in the garage door and then walk on in the condo, 9, 10, 30, 11 o'clock at night, and then leaving at 4:30 in the morning, going back home to his wife, who raised his children, sacrificed and raised his children as a homemaker, and. But anyway, let's talk about her because she ended up being disqualified this past week. Here, let me give you some background. The Trump case there, the election fraud case, election interference case, or whatever, she decided to try it as a RICO case with like 15 people. Okay. And she got hung up and she hired her lover, who was married, Nathan Wade, as the special prosecutor. And mind you, he only did family law and other kind of stuff. He never did anything like this. So come to find out, they were having meetings at the White House prior to, and all this kind of the DOJ, which they were hiding, that came out later. He got subpoenaed by Congress a few months ago, and at first he tried to avoid the subpoena. Now, how are you a lawyer, and the whole world know you're subpoenaed, and the federal marshals can't find you? So right there, you're asking, was the vitamin D good? I'm asking, boy, what's wrong with you? You had a federal, the whole world knew he had a federal subpoena to show up in Congress on this date, and he missed the date because they couldn't find it. They had to send the federal marshals to find him. So he testified under oath in private. He didn't do it openly. And let's probably say if he had some sense, he didn't do like he did on the witness stand in Fulton County. He probably told the truth because he wanted to go to prison. So he probably turned state witness on it, So now what happened with that is they subpoenaed her records, all her communication records, which I think as a public official should be public record.
Open to the public.
Right. So they subpoenaed her record because they want to see was there coercion and collusion between her, the DOJ, and the White House, the Democratic Party, because she did have meetings with the vice president's office and at the White House, and so did he. But on the stand, she denied it. Okay, well, Miss Fanny said, I don't have to turn it over. Oh, you bad. You don't have to turn it. Okay, you don't have to turn it over. So the Georgia Supreme Court, whatever that governor board who manages all the lawyers in the state and all the law.
My God.
They disqualified her from the case. Now, here's another piece. I'm going to show you that tape at this moment. Here's the other piece to that. Because of her insubordination, if you will, and because of her refusal to cooperate, she could end up being sanctioned. She could be disbarred. She could be criminally charged because she every time she's been asked to do something, she hasn't done it, which gives the connotation. I don't know. I really don't know because nobody knows. It looks like she's trying to hide something. Because here's the deal. If she colluded beforehand and then she brought the charges, it looks like, okay, this was just politically, whether they did it or not, it looks like it was politically motivated. And if she was doing that, that means she's lied under oath because she was acting. Everybody should get a fair chance.
Right.
So, nonetheless, this is what happened. This is where we are with that. And this is the story. There, the breaking news just the other day on CNN. And watch this. And you can tell that Jim Acosta was not too happy.
We begin this hour with breaking news just into CNN. The Georgia prosecutor leading the state's election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump is now disqualified. CNN's Caitlin Polance is here with more. Caitlin, what can you tell us about this? This is just coming in the last several minutes. This is a big development.
A big development, and a big development that Donald Trump has wanted for a long time. That case against him in Georgia, the criminal case where it's accusing him and several others of a racketeering conspiracy related to the 2020 election, it's already been paused. Now it's not even backburnered. This is a case that will be dead in the water because the Georgia Court of Appeals is now saying that Fani Willis, the leader of the prosecution against Donald Trump, the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, she should be disqualified from being able to bring that case. The Georgia Court of Appeals is saying that it's a significant appearance of impropriety caused by the conduct of a public prosecutor. That is Willis, how she behaved, how she was speaking about the case, about Trump publicly, about how she was having a relationship with the top prosecutor that was concealed in this, a man named Nathan Wade. All of that previously, the trial level judge had looked at and said, Fani Willis can stay on this case. We're not dismissing the indictment, but the Court of Appeals is now taking another look and saying, no, the trial judge was wrong. Fani Willis should be disqualified from continuing to lead this case. It would be a long process, or it will be a long process to replace her, which is why I say this case is dead in the water now without Fani Willis, the person who was leading this case against Donald Trump in Fulton County. And just to keep tabs on how many cases there are against Donald Trump criminally, the other two in federal court, January 6th, and classified documents, those are dismissed. And then the additional case in New York City, where he was set to be sentenced, that sentencing is now not happening. So as Donald Trump enters the presidency, each of these courts that is handling a criminal case is essentially removing that issue from him to have to deal with in any period of time in the near future.
All right, Caitlin Polance. Thanks for that added perspective. Let me bring in CNN.
All right, you heard it there. You heard it there. She was disqualified from the case. Now, what will happen is that they will give the case to, they will submit it for another prosecutor, district attorney somewhere in Georgia to handle the case, if they so desire to. But at this case, Diva, there's not many outside of Cobb County. There aren't many other jurisdictions in Georgia, 167 counties in Georgia that have the even financial and manpower and capacity to handle a case with 12 or 13 or 14 defendants. Talk to me.
Had fake Fani Willis been a woman of integrity and a woman by her business, standing on business, this would have been taken care of long before the election could have even gotten started. So it bothers me that now at the end all be all is now this guy's going to end up walking away unscathed because she screwed up, all because she wanted to get some vitamin D from somebody's husband. I just don't understand. Here's another woman of color that could have showed what it was like to be in power and have integrity and lead by example out there chasing the D.
Is it that, or was that just a side product? Because I guess, because Tiffany Henyard, and then the mayor of New Orleans, she had an affair with it. Okay, well, you might be able to something.
I mean, it's, you know what, this is what I think. You keep seeing this, black girls rock. I think as a woman of color, what?
Black girl magic.
I think, black girl magic. I think as a woman of color that you have an extra added responsibility to these young black girls to handle yourself in such a way. Be very Michelle Obama-esque. You know what I'm saying? Be very Diane Carroll-esque. No, we're not going to say Oprah. Because everybody's looking to pick apart Black Girls Rock or Black Lives Matter or whatever. Women rule. Come on. Like, you were supposed to be that person for these young ladies. I keep hitting my hand. It bothers me.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. And I'll be honest with you, very disappointing because you brought up Black Lives Matters, and the national organization who was led by Patrice Cullors and a couple of other women. And they got what, $90, $100 million?
Right.
In 4 houses, and hired all their kinfolk and boyfriends and baby daddies and baby mamas and all this stuff, and ain't put a child through college and nothing like that. So there again, Black women in leadership. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but they've been getting these opportunities in this hour of the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they're dropping the ball, unfortunately. Now, you get mad with me, whatever case, they're dropping the ball. Let's start going. We can start going out of this. We could actually do about 4, 5, 6 podcasts. Look at the former city commissioner there in Orlando. Remember Fireman Pete? What's her name?
That ain't Fireman Pete. It's something Bill. Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah, Fire Marshal Bill.
She's stealing from an old lady. Like, there's a special place in hell for her.
And she had that blonde hair too.
See, it must be a sickness. Watch, fake Fanny Fawny gonna end up with it too. Watch, she gonna get her hair cut real short.
But seriously, for real. But if you notice there's something there. That's why I was saying, Diva, it's more than just the sexual prowess and all the power. There's something about they're getting into these positions where then it's like, I'm untouchable. And because they feel like I'm untouchable, because the first thing they do is, well, I'm black. And you'll tell me, yeah, you black, you green, you purple. If you do wrong, you're wrong.
You're wrong. Right.
But these things were shifting, and I'm about to shift the conversation because we were going to talk about domestic violence with men. But one of the things about it, a lot of times women, especially black women, always felt like they can get off and get by.
Right.
So boom, they got him. And then the woman kind of, but now
they're hemming and hawing. Right.
Now, women, if you do the same thing a man does, you should pay the price. Since we want
the same exact price.
Suspend
your license if you're not paying child support, or suspend your license, or get arrested, or if you put your hand on a man. This is what I've always said, and I've had girlfriends tell me, Shonda, that's not right. I give 0 Fs. If you are bad enough to jump up in a man's face and put your hands on him, whatever happens. No, you get a pass because you have a vajayjay. That is not fair. That is discrimination. That's genital discrimination. Like, if you are putting your hand on a man, you're a woman. If you are putting your hands on a man, you have got to know there's a possibility you're going to get your wig with the lint in it knocked off your head. And a lot of men won't say anything because they're embarrassed. But let me explain something to you. It takes a real man to stand in their place and say, this was done to me. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but you may be setting the precedent for the next guy behind you who thinks, I can't say nothing because somebody gonna be say something.
Right. Yeah, and men, you have to. There are. I was reading some statistics the other day where now they're about. I think it's 1 in 7, 1 in 7, 1 in 10, or 1 in 7. I'll check that before we go. 1 in 7 men now are victims of domestic violence by women, and that's pretty tough. It's already 1 in 4 women that are victims of domestic violence, but 1 in 7 men are victims of domestic violence from women. And that's what's being reported.
Right.
Because
so that number is way off. That number is skewed because they're not being reported.
1 to 4, right? Because even the 1 in 4, there's a lot of women that don't report as well. But here's the thing about it. Let me tell you something, brother. Full disclosure, I've been a victim of domestic violence.
Tell them why. Tell them why.
And the reason why was because I, more than one occasion, but I would say, well, I'm a man, I'm a preacher, I'm this and that. I can't go and let nobody know that because that's going to be, and finally when it got too much, I had to say something because I had to say something. Because we know if it would have been me just to do like, I would have had handcuffs on me.
Under the jail.
Yes. And rightfully so. I'm not advocating, rightfully so. But men, you have to, and that was one of the most hardest things for me to do, but it took a lot of strength for me to say, you know what, I better start protecting myself. Otherwise, I'm gonna be
absolutely.
I'm gonna be outside of the rules, I'm gonna be out and be stabbed to death or whatever case. And just breaking news. So I had to go and take the initiative myself, get over pride, get over reputation, and say, preacher or not, black man or
get
not,
off that ego trip.
Say, listen, you better try to protect yourself and do something about it, or you're gonna be dead or close to dead and hurt.
Because guess what it was doing? It was ramping up.
Right. Or
it was getting worse.
You end up being the victim of it, but then that happened to me 3 times, but then that 4th time you retaliate and then you get the one being arrested. You get arrested.
Right. That, the sad part about it is they play on your emotions because they know the woman knows that the man is not going to report it.
Right.
So when you got somebody around here putting their hands on you, I don't care what it is. You're a female and you're around here looking like Wreck-It Ralph. You need to go sit your behind down somewhere. Keep your hands to yourself. Sit on your hands. You know what I'm saying? Keep your hands to yourself. Because if you were my ex-husband, there would have been no problems. My ex-husband, as big as he is, hit a woman. Now, he wasn't crazy enough to hit me because he know I'm crazy. Signal 20. Amen. And I just said, if you bad enough to jump up in a man's face and put your hands on him, then you bad enough to get dealt with. That's just me.
And here's the thing about it. And let me tell you something, brothers, hear me. If you are a victim of domestic violence, report it. Get over your pride, because the longer you take it, the more it's going to amp up and the worse it's going to get. And unfortunately, what may happen is you may come out of character or maybe in character. You may knock the hell out of it, and then you're going to be the one
that's right. Arrested. Oh, they come at top speed to come get you then, lights and sirens.
Right, and you're going to be arrested.
He hit me.
And the whole 9 yards. And let me tell you something.
And it's funny. It's like they never say, well, what did you do to him?
Right. And as soon as you knock the hell out of her, even push her, all of a sudden, and that's it. They ain't gonna say she could have hit you 4 times, but because you retaliate, you're gonna be the one that's gonna be in the jail. So don't allow yourself to be there. And let me tell you something. My cousin always laughed at because she said, I know you, Shane. I know you. I'm not perfect, but let me tell you something. I think I really do have the Lord. I don't think I know it, because let me tell you something. It was nothing but the Holy Spirit and the power of God.
Ooh.
The power of God that kept me from retaliating, that kept me from snapping, that kept me from losing my mind. And this is not preaching. This ain't hyperbole. This is a fact. Because when you sit there as a man and you're not even, and you get hit by a woman, and you know that if all you got to do is just do like that. And
yeah. Right. Oh, hear me. Yeah.
Just do like that. And I said, no, I saw the plan of the enemy. I saw the plan. The plan was to push me to retaliate.
Yeah.
Then my reputation was he's a woman beater.
Yeah.
Now nobody will believe.
Among the other things that she was trying to call you.
Right.
Dumbass,
So that's about it. So what happens is I had to get to that place. So you know what? I got to protect myself. And I don't regret it. I regret the situation like that, but I don't regret it because, and you know what? And I was feeling a little bit embarrassed and everything. But when I started reading and researching and was talking to people there, I was like, oh, there's a lot of guys be up in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of guys be up there. They may be coming in there like, whatever. But listen, let me tell you something. You have to do this because whatever's happening, there are some, and it's not all black women, it's not all women, but there's some women they get on these power trips. Some of it's mental illness, some of it's narcissism, some of it's whatever happened.
Some of it's a combination of all that.
Yes.
Wreck-It Ralph has all of that.
Yes. And so what happens is they feel like they can do it and get away with it, whether it's Fannie Willis, whether it's Tiffany Hilliard, the mayor of Cottrell there in New Orleans, or the former city commissioner on that. They feel like they can do it and get away with it. But the tide is turning. Now the tide is turning to where now, but men, you have to protect yourself. So put your comments down below. You can put your comments down below. If you need to reach out to us, you can do that as well, because let me tell you something. I've been there. And let me tell you something, it don't stop there, because if they're really crazy, okay, the restraining order ain't gonna do nothing. They'll ramp it up some more. But at least
restraining order is not worth the paper is written on. I'm talking about a whole restraining order, bullet points and all. What you cannot do, boom, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it says you cannot do this, do not do this. And you turn right around and do the very thing that is on the restraining order. Listen. That right there is just out and out. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
And then guess what? And you continue to abuse. Oh my God. When we really do a breakdown of everything, we're going to be online for a while, because I'm trying to tell you, Wreck-It Ralph the Bullfrog is going to get the whole rundown. You hear me?
Oh, but let me tell you something, gentlemen.
Calling me a trick.
Brothers, there is hope. There are resources. Don't let your pride get in the way. You might be 6 feet under. Or don't let your pride get in the way that you don't take the necessary steps to protect yourself, so you don't end up with 45 years and called a wife, one woman beater, and all that kind of stuff. I'm serious. All jokes aside, I'm serious. I've been there. I've seen it happen. I've been a victim of it. But you can get through it. Put your comments down below. I'm glad we did this segment, D, because here in 2025, people need to know things are changing. The world is healing. Things are coming around, and things are not how they used to be. And there are ways men to protect themselves. Just like we say, believe all women, you need to start believing the men too, because there's a lot of men who are going through that. And let me say something. You'll be all right. You'll be right. I have to tell myself sometimes, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. Because you
don't have no choice. You have no choice. You're gonna be all right regardless. Because if not, you and I gonna have a long conversation. Because it took a lot of convincing to let you know you are a victim.
Right. Don't let your pride get in the way, brothers. Don't let your pride get in the way. If you want to reach out to me in the private chat or whatever, if you do that, because they're research, we can get through this together. Because understand something, you don't have to sit up there and be beat up and abused and all that kind of stuff just because of your pride. Just because of your pride. We'll be right back right after this, and we got one more story, I believe. We got two more. Now we're going to be back with talking about this. The R and Divas piece right here. R.F. Kennedy Jr. and how he wants to make America healthy again. We'll be right back.
I am a veteran of the United States Air Force, and one of the biggest thrills I always got caught up in was going out into the field. And when you're out in the field, you have to be ready. And what we ate, we didn't pack lunches. We went out there with MREs, meals ready to eat. And I had a couple that were great. I loved it. And now there's a company that prepares survival kits and meal preparedness kits, and it's called My Patriot Supply. Let me get that right. My Patriot Supply. And you can go through our website, or you can go through our streaming and punch in squaredaway.life. That's a military term, squared away. So if anybody knows that, they know somebody's a veteran around here. But they have really, really great stuff. They are run by veterans, and I'm quite sure that they are in the know for what, and then being in Florida or wherever you are, there's disaster preparedness, hurricanes, tornadoes. It doesn't hurt to have something already stacked and ready to go. So once again, My Patriot Supply, and you could reach them through squaredaway.life.
All right, squaredaway.life. You don't want to miss out on that website about that, because one of our sponsors here, they go to squaredaway.life, powered by My Patriot Supply. All right. Having some technical difficulties here. Let's talk about this. Now this segment is brought to you by the COG Equity Podcast again. You can watch the COG Equity Podcast Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right on here on this platform, and available wherever you podcast. And very soon, here in 2025, on the Daily Gospel Network. And so we're excited about that. Diva, now, this is your area here, health and medical issues. And this is going to be a segue into your segment, Ask Our Diva. But now our number 47, as we call it, has appointed or nominated Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's part of the Camelot Kennedy clan. And full disclosure, I've always been fascinated by the whole Kennedy story, from Bobby Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Joseph Kennedy, the whole 9 yards. It's quite interesting, because they weren't always royalty, but that's considered American royalty. But nonetheless, NASA's that connection. But anyway, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been nominated to be the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary, which would be over the NIH, the FDA, all those medical and Food and Drug Administration, all of that. So there's 2 or 3 things that he's really talking about. One of them, he's talking about having the vaccines. Now, there's been a misnomer put out saying that he wants to stop all vaccines. No, he's not a vaccine denier. What happened is President Ronald Reagan back in the 80s signed a law. He's Republican. He signed a law giving the pharmaceutical companies total immunity if you got injured by the vaccines, you could not be sued. You can sue them. And so at the same time, even when we grew up, what was it, 4 or 5 vaccines you got as a child? You know, the MMR, measles, chickenpox, all that, right. Now it's up to, I believe, 72 or 78. And a lot of these vaccines have not
that's just goddamn ridiculous now.
Yeah, a lot of them have not gone through the testing that they normally do. And because if you don't test them, you're rolling them out, and then people are getting injured, and then you can't sue. So, hey, whatever. So he wants there to be a little more testing before they roll it, even testing and take the immunity from, because I guarantee you, if they find out that some of these things aren't working or whatever. So let's go to the first part of where he was talking here recently about how the Amish, you heard of the Amish. The Amish, they do everything that they don't even believe in cell phones and all that kind of stuff. They're out there in the Amish country and all that. They drink raw milk and all of that. But here's something they notice, that they don't get vaccinated. That's not a part of their religion. Okay. But they also looked at the autism rate amongst with the Amish based on the non-Amish. So this is about a minute clip long. Let's take a look at this and see what Bobby is talking about, and then we'll let you give your opinion here.
There was a researcher, a writer named Dan Olmsted, and he was very curious about unvaccinated populations, and the Amish are one of those populations. So he went and he did a study of the Amish in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, or Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and there should have been, I think, about, if it was following the national trends, there should have been about 2,000 autism cases, and they were able to find 3, and all of them were children who had been adopted by the Amish after receiving their vaccines. Oh, of the Amish in general, they could not find any. And this is true in other places around the world. There's a link between that. And I do not believe that autism is just caused by vaccines. I think there's very strong evidence that it is one of the major causative factors. But all of these diseases are linked. They all operate along the same biological pathways, and they're caused by stress to our mitochondria. And we're stressing the mitochondria through many, many vectors, through the air we breathe, mainly through the foods we eat, but also some of the medications that our kids taking are contributed to it.
Okay, Diva.
There was a researcher, a writer named Dan Olmsted.
He's not saying causes that, but there's causation. But he wants
okay, so we had vaccinations coming up. The vaccinations we had then are completely different than what they're doing now because they're pushing them out so fast because the pharmaceutical companies are competing with one another. Has nothing to do with trying to get quality vaccinations. They're competing with one another and they want you to take theirs instead of the other company. That's that. The other thing is, the first thing, when you start talking about vaccinations, people start getting into the conspiracy theory, these theories. And sad part about it is because people are not educated enough, they end up just going completely the other way, right? So that means now they're not vaccinated. They're going to daycare or they're going to school and they're around other kids, and all they're doing is passing germs back and forth. And these kids, a prime example, my nieces are always sick when they go to daycare. Mm-hmm. The thing with the Amish, they ran all these tests and statistics to show that, of course, the unvaccinated Amish population, but they're comparing it to our population, and it's not the same scenario because their kids don't go to daycare. They're homeschooled in their own little community. They don't send them out. You know what I'm saying? So they can't say they're in horse and buggies, and they can't say that it's the same. They're not equal. They can't say that one is better than the other. Now, if they both were from the American population that is being vaccinated, do vaccinated with vaccinated. Don't talk about, this is what's so bad about being vaccinated. And then you have the Amish who are doing major things, but they minding their business. There's other things that they do that we would never do. So I think you need more
research.
More research, but we need research that is backed up. Like it needs to have the information provided, and it needs to back up what you are trying to push. Like if you're trying to put something into our brains, give me something that's going to back up that topic.
Right.
Don't just tell me. So I just I don't know how I feel about vaccines. With my younger niece and nephews right now, I don't. It's not. They're not my kids. I would rather them be vaccinated to give them a fighting chance. You know,
Right now,
better to have something than nothing at all. And I don't know what the correlation is between autism and vaccines. I don't know that that is proven to be true.
Well, right, and
I don't know that.
He's not saying that, but what they're saying is they're trying to find out. He wants to find out that as they increase the vaccine schedule from when we were like what was 4 or 5 or 6 at the most to now it's 72. Whenever that started to increase, now I mean, when we were growing up, you didn't hear about autism. It was like I think it was like 1 in 50,000. Now it's like 1 in 30, and especially with boys because there's something about the blood-brain barrier that's thinner in boys, and so there's some so he's not saying that he wants to open up the research to find out. So if there is something, then we know, as opposed to just saying no, and then there's not really any valid, like you say, validated research, not just somebody going off on the jag because there's people that got the children got a shot or something like that, and maybe 2-3 years old, and the child was laughing, talking, and whatever. They got the shot, got sick, and then they haven't talked anymore since then. So you have some of those cases where there's some type of reaction. Doesn't necessarily mean that's the case, but there are a lot of stories like that. So let's do the research, and maybe it's not, but you can't find out if it's not. But also I think that's the issue. So some people are afraid because when you say that, somebody, well, he's anti-vaxxer. He said, no, I'm not anti-vaxxer. Matter of fact, here's a little thing he gave at the in front of Congress last year, because actually a lot of people don't realize he's been fighting this now through lawsuits and everything. Children's Health Defense, that's his organization. For 19 years, he's been, healthy stuff and doing the fighting this pharmaceutical companies and all this kind of stuff. Here's a video of him before Congress about maybe about a year and a half ago, talking about how he's trying to make sure that our children, from the child level, that things are a little bit better and safe and effective, or at least more research. So let's check this out. It's about a minute and a half, about 2 minutes long.
To find a pre-licensing safety trial of any of the 72 vaccines doses that are now essentially mandated. They're recommended, but that's effectively mandated for American children, and we have not been able to find any. And every other medication requires, prior to licensing by FDA, that the company perform a safety trial that compares health outcomes in a placebo group and a similarly situated vaccine group. My assumption was that was done for vaccines. We found out that it hadn't been, that it was not. They were exempt. And I made that statement publicly. Dr. Fauci contradicted me. And when President Trump ordered him to meet with me, him and Francis Collins and a group of my colleagues, I said to them,
What happened? It stopped. We seem to be having some technical difficulties. Again, the video has stopped, so I'm waiting on him to fix it because for some reason I cannot. Reverend Carpenter. Well, I don't know what happened there, folks. I understand where I think it's RFK is coming from. It begs you need to look into what it is that works for you. If you feel like vaccines are something that you don't tell everybody what your vaccination status is. All it does is make a whole bunch of conversation and arguments, and it's not necessary because you're not going to take their advice anyway. Do what you need to do for you and your family. I give my opinion to those that are in my family with young kids. I say, hey, I think you should vaccinate your kids. Ultimately, the decision is theirs, and I leave it at that. What else can I do? Because if they ask me information, I will give them the information. It's, I know he made several comments about there's a certain amount of restaurants that are using like a lot of chemicals. Perfect example, McDonald's French fries. Here, everybody love a good McDonald's fry. Here in the United States, there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into the French fries. In China, there's 3: tallow, salt, and I think that's it. Salt, tallow, and there's one more thing. That's it. They don't put a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of it. It just isn't. The added stuff is what's the problem. The preservatives. Even good old Chick-fil-A has a whole list of things that go into their chicken breast sandwich. So I'm not sure. Wait, we're really having some difficulties today. You just got to be careful what you eat. I say follow RFK Jr. and see what it is that he has to come up with. It sounds as if he has done his research. He probably eats very well. I have the tendency to eat very well when I start to feel like I'm sick, like I don't like my body's run down. Then I'm absolutely eating clean. But I don't do it all the time. And there's times where I don't have a problem just run out Chick-fil-A. It's right up the street. But you have to make these decisions for yourself. You have to get in the know. You need to stop, get off social media, and get on Google or look it up in a book and figure it out for yourself. Gather your information and don't cram it down somebody else's throat. Work with what you work with and keep it to yourself. If anybody asks you, then you give your opinion. Don't try to cram it down someone's throat because it's not well received and you don't want those things. So, with that being said, we are going to probably shut this down only because we're having issues. You know, what I'm going to do, since I'm not having any issues right now, I'm going to press on to the Ask the RN Diva segment, which is a segment that anybody can send me information, a question, ask me anything that you think you need clarification on. But it's a segment that we've started, and we are trying to be a voice and be a place where people can come and ask questions. I've been a nurse for quite some time. We won't give the number. I used to give the number. That ain't none of your business. But I've been a nurse for a very long time, and I'm still in school because I have nothing better to do. And I have quite a few stories and much advice. So what I wanted to speak on tonight is I'm not sure if everyone out there had an opportunity to see the documentary, well, not documentary, but the show on Netflix with Jamie Foxx. What had happened was, if you have not seen it, folks, I suggest you get your little Netflix out and you look at it, because Jamie Foxx, he's having you crying one minute, and of course Jamie Foxx being Jamie Foxx, laughing another. But it was very touching because he wanted to get out his own narrative, and that's beautiful because that way someone else doesn't take your story and twist it to fit their narrative. And there's one part on there that I wanted to touch on that was very, very important to note. And that was there was only one symptom that Jamie had. And it was, he said he had a headache. A lot of times when I would have patients come into the emergency room and they're coming in and they say they have a headache, and I asked them to describe it to me. Is it a headache to where you feel like you can pop a Tylenol and keep it pushing? Or this is the phrase I've always used. Is it the worst headache you've ever had in your life? That makes them stop and think. Is it the worst headache you've ever had in your life? That speaks volumes to the healthcare provider that's taking your intake information. And be very specific. Describe it. Throbbing, stabbing, constant, intermittent. It comes and goes. Is it a constant pounding in your head? Is there any blurred vision? These things are important. Don't just say I have a headache, because we don't want to have to pull teeth. We want to just say, okay, let's just go from here. Just tell me what your symptoms are. And so the first thing that he did when he kept saying he had this headache, and he had it for a little while, I want to say maybe a day or so, maybe 2 days. And it just wasn't letting up. The first thing he did that a lot of us do was he asked, I'm not sure who it was, asked them for an aspirin. Now, long story short, when it came out, he was having the headache because they found blood on his brain. So, but let me explain something really quick. Especially people of color. The first thing we do when we get a headache, get a little BC powder or a little goody powder, get you a nice ice cold Pepsi, and you down it because you're trying to get rid of that headache. And usually if it's just a headache, it's fine. If it's just a headache, it's fine. But if it's something even more serious, it's not such a good idea. And here's why. His symptom and the way he described it should have been enough for him to just call 911. And that's what my educating part is here. Call 911 if you feel like this is a headache that you've never felt before in your life, and it is giving you blurred vision, it's nausea, vomiting. If any of that is occurring, you need to get immediate help. Don't take anything. And I also would say don't drink anything, because you may very well have to go to surgery, but that's neither here nor there. So he asked for an aspirin. They gave him an aspirin. Once he got in the hospital and they were able to run MRIs and CAT scan to do the complete workup, he had blood on his brain. So Jamie Foxx suffered a very, very serious stroke. He did actually lose some ability to talk. Excuse me. And he had some residual where he actually had to go to physical therapy in order to work himself back up to where he could walk again. But him having a bleed on his brain and aspirin will thin your blood. Those two don't go together. So him taking that aspirin was an issue. Okay. It worked out in his favor, so it didn't make it worse, but he had a bleed, and he ultimately, it was diagnosed as a stroke. Oh my God. It was diagnosed as a stroke. So you got to be very, very in tune with your body. You have to be able to say, okay, this is different from a regular headache. And not just aspirin, but Don't take anything. Advil, naproxen, which is Aleve, Advil, ibuprofen, Motrin, none of those things. Don't take any of that. No aspirin, no goody powder, no BC powder. Just go directly to the emergency room or call 911, because those things make you have a thinner blood and the bleed will be increased. Now, for those of you out there, you're probably not listening to me, but cocaine, people take a bump every now and then. Not me. What is happening? Listen, folks, I'm not that important. So I have to fix this. So when you're having these issues, you have to be very careful, and you need to be your own advocate. Okay, I'm not sure why. One moment, please. This is my host. What is happening?
The entire whole goddamn internet completely went out of the house.
Okay, folks, we're having technical difficulties. One moment.
Are you still on?
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'll come back on. I didn't know you were still on.
Yeah, I'm still on. I'm sitting up here talking about Jamie Foxx.
Keep talking. I'll be on there. But this is weird. Something's really weird.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. All right. My co-host calling me on FaceTime. I'm gonna need him to get a job. But like I said, be very, very diligent in your own healthcare. That ties in with making your own decisions on being vaccinated or not. But anybody that's taking a quick bump, or anybody taking amphetamines or anything like that, that can increase your blood flow and the thinness of your blood, and it makes you at an increased risk for a bleed. Also, history is huge. So if you go into the hospital and in the emergency room and they're asking you, what did you take? If you are taking cold medicine, if you are taking anything with a amphetamine or in the actual drug, tell them that, because that's stuff that they need to work into your care. So all I'm saying is be alert, be aware, describe your headache, and don't wait around. Call someone, call 911, go directly to the hospital. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Go directly into the emergency room and tell them when it started, how bad it is, and if you've taken anything. Because that's going to save your life. I'm happy that he was able to get to the emergency room, and actually he was kicking and screaming at first. He didn't want to go, but he was able to get in and get treatment, and he became very, very, very emotional during the whole segment and his whole show. And he came back. Well, look who's back.
I came back from the dead like Jamie Foxx.
He wasn't dead.
Okay.
And he wasn't a clone. But I was explaining that it's very, very important to know if you're having a headache that you describe as a headache so bad that you've not ever had in your life, and it is so excruciating, don't take anything. And don't drink anything, because we quick to get a quick BC powder and some Pepsi. No, Don't take anything, and just go directly to the emergency room. And I explained to them the reason why is a lot of things will make your blood thinner. Advil, naproxen, Aleve, ibuprofen, Motrin. Oh, those things make your blood thinner. So you don't want to increase. You don't know if you have a bleed on your brain. You don't know if that's where the headache is coming from. So you need to make sure you're not helping it along. And be able to describe your headache when you get to the emergency room. Tell them everything about that headache, because as a healthcare worker, we can pick up on the subtle signs. So that is my spiel on the whole thing. And Pastor Robert, you may have it back. And that is the end of Ask the RN Diva. In order to get in touch with me, if you'd like to send me a question, want to ask me something, you could reach me at thernddiva01@gmail.com. I do not give medical advice, but I do give my opinion. And 9 times out of 10, it's right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now that right there is a professional who knows her stuff. She just opined for about 10 minutes straight?
Don't take much.
Back home.
My God, today.
Good Lord have mercy. I didn't know when I called you on FaceTime that you were still on. I'm glad
I said my host is my co-host is calling me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if it was the NSA, the CIA. I don't know if it was somebody being nasty and called my internet service provider. I got to call them and find out, because literally, I'm not gonna say the name of the service because of you, but literally we're sitting here and have the fastest that company has.
Right.
And
me too.
It all just went out right when we were talking about Bobby Kennedy in the back.
But did it? That's the only thing that went out?
Huh?
Was that the only thing that went out?
Yes. The red light, the everything. Just I'm talking about it. No Wi-Fi. My whole computer screen just went, and probably 75% even lights and stuff in the house are hooked to Wi-Fi. And so I'm sitting there like. Then I went on with the company. I tried to go in the chat, and they were like, "Well, we're closed." And I'm like, "Oh no! You can't be closed right now."
Did you check for outages?
There were no outages. That's the first thing I did. There were no outages in the area.
You already know the bullfrog.
So I had to reset the modem, reset the router, twice. And then I had to log off my computer, my MacBook, and go back on. So that has never happened before. And
Ever.
That was my thing.
Never had that happen before. It's a coinky dink that it's happening now that the bullfrog is like,
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. So we're not going to do our last story. We're going to come back later on this year in 2025, and we're going to be talking about and taking some time, because we really want to research this and give you information. Not just this podcast is about entertainment and enlightenment. So we want to give you information throughout this year, 2025, about what it's talking about. We were going to show the clip, but still going to show the clip of the seed oil, where seed oils. Do you know the history of seed oils, Diva?
Well, not until you told me the other night.
Seed oils are made from originally from the leftover from when they made petroleum, like what we call Vaseline.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they made a vegetable. So they start making it out of seeds, vegetable, canola, corn, all this stuff. But there is documentation and there's proof and studies that are showing that is why the colon cancer and some of these autoimmune diseases have spiked ever since they're putting seed oil in everything. And I was telling you earlier today that McDonald's, everybody I think love McDonald's French fries. McDonald's French fries over in Europe only have 3 ingredients.
I mentioned that. Mm-hmm. Taters.
Salt. And the tallow oil that they fried in. Over here, I think I thought it was 11, but I heard it was 17 ingredients.
Yeah, 16, 17.
And the fries.
They're trying to kill us for real.
And so there's something that we have to really look at and say, okay, you know what? Wait a second. Come on. Why over here? Because over to the Europe's credit, they banned a lot of that stuff. These chemicals in the food. So, but you know what? We're going to end with this before we give all our contact information and how you can get a hold of us. I came across this, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're not on X, X is the new media. CNN now is getting less ratings than the Cartoon Network. And the Hallmark Channel. MSNBC
Hell
has
no.
MSNBC, MSDNC. I mean, MSNBC has
He can
lost
speak
75%.
English, folks. I promise. I promise.
That
He
was
can
an
speak English.
intentional step. MSDNC, but MSNBC has lost 75% of the audience. Matter of fact, Comcast, who owns NBC Universal, who owns MSNBC, they're trying to sell MSNBC right now because they don't want. It's a liability. Yeah, it's a liability. CNN is getting less. I'm talking about. I heard this week they're getting less viewers in prime time than the Cartoon Network. So X is where it is, formerly known as Twitter. You have to use discretion because you will get the crazy stuff too. But even that shooting, and they're not paying me. They should pay me for that because I'm on X right now. But even that shooting at the Wisconsin school, the Christian school with the 15-year-old girl, they already identified who the shooter was, her motive, and everything on X within an hour. It was like
wait. See, I try to stay away. Wait. It was a girl that did the shooting?
15-year-old.
Okay, yeah, we got to talk. What?
Yeah, 15-year-old. And within an hour, they knew who she was on X. They knew who she was, her manifesto, her whole 9 yards. It was about 4 or 5, 6 hours before the police came out on the network. They had a press conference. So X is the place. Forget what you heard. If you want breaking news and you want stuff right now in real time, unfiltered, that's where you get it from. Again, you have to use discretion because there's going to be the crazy stuff out there. But the censorship is very, very light as opposed to on some of these other platforms that we're on right now. And we're grateful. Because if you like to have a YouTube member, you do our channel. We love this. You support us that way. But look at what I found today on X, a couple of hours before the podcast tonight. And Diva, this is gonna bother me because hold on, just hold on 1 minute here.
Hold the line.
Y'all know that one.
Hold the line. Messon come.
Okay. All right, here's my prop. This is okay. Here we go. We're gonna share this tab right here. This is going to freak you out. I promise. I promise it will. All right, watch this.
0.1 second. 0.5 second. 1 second. 3 second.
3 seconds. Been a long while.
5 second. 30 second.
What are we putting in ourselves? What is it in an Oreo that can withstand that heat that not even wood can withstand that? We have to start asking ourselves what it is that we are putting in our bodies because this is not normal. This is not normal at all. This is nuts. This is crazy. And watch when he turns it off, barely anything.
It's still going?
0.1.
Oh my gosh. I don't like Oreos.
Oh well.
So
these are going in the trash tonight.
In the trash. Do not give them to our friend. Oh my goodness.
That is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are listening on the podcast, there was a guy with a blowtorch, a propane blowtorch, holding it to Oreos for a certain amount of seconds and over 30 seconds. And it took about 50 seconds before it actually finally Oreo caught on fire.
Right.
But did not burn or melt. That's the same Oreo that we eat and we put in our body. So what is it doing?
No wonder there's so much colon cancer. Yeah, we're gonna delve deeper into this because it's not just Oreos. What about crumble cookies?
Ladies and gentlemen,
you can taste that chemical in there. All of it.
I am a lover of crumble cookies, and ladies and gentlemen, just the other day, I came across a video. Oh, here it is right here. It is right here. There's a little language warning on here, but get over it. But I'm gonna show you this. Here's another one, and this is why I love X so much and TikTok.
Robert, give me a second.
Okay. Love it so much because we got to make sure that we're careful. You know, we talk about our body as a temple, and we have to take care of it. And you know, and part of body being a temple, we love to eat. I love to eat, and I love good food, and the Diva certainly does, because we're always finding nice 5-star restaurants or different restaurants to partake in and sup, as they say in the Bible. But you really need to be careful. You need to take a look again. Look at the correlation between sickness, disease, autoimmune diseases, and what we're putting in our bodies. Check this out.
Yeah.
This is going to be, this is another one that's going to blow your mind. This is only about 30 seconds, language warning, but you'll be all right.
Holy shit, crumble cookies. Why is this in your food? Banana cream pie was baffling to me. I swear to God, this has 60 ingredients. Vegetable oil, soybean and palm oil, mono and diglycerides, yellow 5, yellow 6, soybean oil, titanium dioxide. It's banned in Europe, by the way. The European Food and Safety Authority, which is leaps and bounds ahead of what the U.S. is doing for food safety, found it, quote, no longer safe to eat, based on hundreds of scientific studies showing that it has genotoxic effects, meaning that it has the ability to damage your DNA to the point of leading to cancer. Holy shit, crumble cookies. Why is this in your food? Banana cream pie was
damage, not only make you sick, but can also damage your
DNA. Oh, I want to go through each and every one of those ingredients, and I'm gonna.
she's not gonna look this go.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
Oh
too.
my goodness gracious, that is insane.
0.9 miles away from where I live, and they you know they're about once a month. I don't go there too often, but
it's not even a mile from me.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's right. Come on, yeah. I can't now. I can't because see, here's the thing: when you know to do better, you should do better.
That's
you know,
right.
you can have a little cheat day when you have a craving, but how can you eat them early?
You'll never see me eating it. I won't. I don't like Oreos. I don't like that. But listen, then we're gonna have to start looking into everything. I want to look. Yeah. I want to look at chocolate. Listen, did you see what they did with the Cheeto?
No,
the hot flaming Cheetos. They somebody took a lighter and set it on fire like a match, and it burned like a match.
Before, because since we're already in 2025, because this is going to be some of our focus for 2025, not just the cultural things that's going on in the news, but let's just go ahead and take a look just for a couple of minutes here of this. This is going to blow your mind, Diva, and give you a little bit more. And then we're going to come back later on this year in 2025. We're going to come back and really dig into this. Check this out.
People be worried about these kind of products.
Seed oils are one of the most unhealthy ingredients that we have in foods. And seed oils, the reason they're in the foods is because they're heavily subsidized. They're very, very cheap, but they are associated with all kinds of very, very serious illnesses, including body-wide inflammation.
Right.
Which affects all of our health. It's one of the worst things you can eat, and it's almost impossible to avoid. If you eat any processed food, you're going to be eating seed oil.
Right, and it's interesting, the government subsidizes it. Why would the government want to subsidize something that's going to make people sick, and then in the end, we all end up paying for that in terms of healthcare costs? They're skyrocketing.
Yeah, because that is a direct result of corruption. About 75% of FDA's budget comes from regulated industry, and that means food processors and pharmaceutical industry. All of them profit from a sick population.
You know, a big item that, and by the way, it's getting very expensive, are cereals. Why is the food coloring in particular bad?
Food coloring, you see here yellow food coloring, that is a petroleum product.
Petroleum.
It's associated with really, with depression. It's associated with autoimmune injuries and ADHD.
Yeah.
these and red dye also is very bad in Europe. These same companies are producing the same products, but they're using natural coloring. But here they can get away with it. We have about almost 1,000 chemicals that are in our food that are either outright banned in Europe or actively discouraged. So you wouldn't be able to buy this kind of stuff in Europe. You ask about why it's so cheap, why it's so ubiquitous. It's because we subsidize the worst foods. We subsidize it with about 70% of our food stamp program is to processed foods, which are all poison.
Right. One of the things that's interesting is you'll see on labels natural flavors, which is this catch-all phrase that I guess was lobbied for, but the ingredients in natural flavors are not really natural.
No, in our country, natural flavors are chemical products. So you can't trust what's on the ingredient label. And the reason for that, again, is government corruption. It's that the agency, the USDA, the FDA have been captured by the industries they're supposed to regulate. And they all have an interest in subsidies and then in mass poisoning the American public.
Yeah, I want to talk about pesticides, and then let's talk about the policy. So let's talk about the pesticides and the things that worry you about. I mean, this looks like fresh food, right? What should I be worried about here?
Yeah, I mean, the irony is, like, for example, my wife loves kale, and she had the impression that kale is actually good for you. If it's organic, it's very good for you. But most kale and strawberries, for example, grapes, are contaminated with pesticides. And particularly the Environmental Working Group has found what they call the dirty dozen, some of the worst pesticides on these products. So, I look at a strawberry and I think, oh, this is a healthy food. Right. But in most cases, unless it's organic, certified organic, you are getting something that's actually hurting you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna stop right there. Diva, go ahead and give me your comment on that, because here's the piece. You notice what he said, and I read something about the necessity and the nutrients in the seeds of grapes and different ones. But notice, what do we buy most times? Seedless grapes.
Seedless grapes. And how are you growing anything without a seed?
Make you think, huh? Some of the oranges, no seeds.
No seeds.
So that means those are literally scientific creations.
Engineered.
Yep.
Those are scientifically engineered.
Well, there's not much, if at all, much value, nutrient value to it. It just tastes good, and it's more convenient because you don't have to pick out the seed. But think about it. I don't remember the last time I bought grapes with a seed in them. Can you even buy them?
I do. Yeah. It's the red ones.
Yeah, I mean, but
I get some green ones too, but they're organic, and the organic's going to cost you an arm and a leg. See, they want you to pay extra to live longer, and that's that BS. That should be the most cheap, right? Because you're going to have more people buying it. So why don't you stop gouging us? Let us buy it so we can live longer. More people buying it longer, long term. I don't understand.
And here's the thing about it. As I was saying to you this morning, growing up, the old folks, they weren't sick. That's why they lived pretty long. They were still okay. Well, if you got something, you call some whatever. But for the most part, they had a little arthritis, they had a little this, they had a little that. But they were not sick. We are raising kids now that are sick.
From jump.
Right.
Yeah.
And now even those of us who now are getting over the 50 mark, we're seeing autoimmune diseases that we didn't have before. A little earlier than our parents and grandparents had it.
Right.
And it makes you wonder. But like you said, so what happens is you're paying cheaper for the food, but you're paying more for the medical costs because this food is making you sick.
Absolutely. And then they're gouging you on the healthcare, on the insurance. And I should know, So let me ask you this: do we go back to Crisco?
Crisco is actually better than the seed oils.
Now, you know what?
They say that's the thing about it. Because they say, because cholesterol is not necessarily a bad thing because there's a part of your body that needs it.
Right.
Right.
I've told people that many times.
Get away from Crisco and lard and all that, which was natural, made of animal fat. And they started pushing all the seed oil. We're like, oh, good. And then we went to the Italian restaurant, the fake Italian restaurants, and we dipped our bread in the olive oil that's processed. It's not really healthy for you because it's not the real olive oil. So everything is made, even the high fructose corn syrup is just a chemical.
Oh my God, that's the worst thing. You know, right. I love a good ice cold Pepsi or Dr. Pepper. I know I drank a lot of soda when I was out in Texas, and I had to give it like
that Pepsi got a spirit in it. that Pepsi.
That ice cold Pepsi, not Pepsi.
Some people have alcohol. That Pepsi right there. That's my drink right there. That's my drink, Pepsi right there. But I'm trying. I have to physically and intentionally say, okay, no, stop and just stop buying it for a while, because otherwise I'll buy a 24 case and then, Matter of fact, and I'll say this, and then we'll close with this. I remember someone found out over at Sam's they were selling a case of 24 ounce Pepsis. 24 ounce Pepsis in a case of 24 for less than $20.
Oh, Jesus.
I would go through at least one of those, maybe two a day.
How big is a 24 ounce?
Almost a liter.
Almost no.
Not a 2 liter. About a third. Right. Almost a third of a 2 liter. If you think more than 16 ounces, more than 20 ounces, 24 ounces. And it was 24 in the case. And I would go through those more than one a day. Because 24, say almost a month. I would go through more. So I had to stop just buying them because it was just so convenient. Get that thermos full of ice, pour that thing in there. Boy, I think I'd have gone to heaven. But the sugar in that alone is bad for you. So what I'm saying is we have to start, when you know better, do better. And I know I probably ruined a whole lot of folk night today and day today as you listen to this podcast and everything, especially that the holidays.
But we love y'all. We love y'all.
But you have to, if you want to live, because I'm going through I'm still seeing my oncologist. So I gotta make sure that, they can do this, but I need to make sure that I'm being a good steward of my body as well. Resting well, sleeping well, but eating better. And again, you don't have to be a mark and just, I can't have this, but with moderation. Right. Just know what
that's when you screw up and start eating anything. Yeah.
Right. Because listen, even the chicken, they put pesticides when they're raising the chickens.
Look how they live. And look at, there's a movie. There's 2 movies that I watched when I was doing a nutrition class, and I said I would never eat chicken again because of the way they put them in the little cages.
Yeah. And so, so even with that, and I know, God knows, I know, if you cut me up and open me up, you're gonna see nothing but chicken.
Trying to take
the gospel bird. I'm a preacher that love me some chicken kebab, chicken and rice, fried chicken, baked chicken. Have the chicken to make it. I believe when I go to heaven, that's one of the things I'm gonna ask the Lord. Lord, do you have some chicken for me? But you have to be careful with that. So this has been a great podcast. I'm glad we're back. And those who listen to us again, thank you for listening to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube Music Podcast as well, which formerly known as Google Podcasts. Thank you. Share this podcast. Give us a rating so we can get it there in the algorithm. And thank you for those who are listening to us live here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and X. And so, Diva, how can they get a hold of you if they want to support what you're doing? Because we're going to be doing this with the health, our cultural stories, and we're going to be doing some true crime stuff real soon as well here in 2025. Tell us how they want to support what you're doing. How can they do that?
You are more than welcome to send. I have several apps that you could send any cash donation or cash donation. My Venmo is at Shonda, CHANDA -Blatch. And my My Cash App is $RN Diva 01. My Cash App is $RN Diva 01.
All right, please
that's it.
Donate to her. And like I said, if you have questions that you want her to cover, or subjects you want her to cover during her Ask the R&D Diva segment, definitely let her know. How can they get a hold of you again for the Ask the R&D Diva segment?
You could shoot me an email over at thernddiva01@gmail.com. Send me a question, any question. It doesn't matter. I will weed through it, and just know that what I am returning to you or answering to you is not medical advice. Don't go running in the ER and say the RN Diva said blah blah blah, because they're gonna be like, nope, I can give you my opinion, and that is what I do here. So, and I am happy to do that. If you just want to ask me a random question, just shoot me over an email.
All right, we'll be sure to do that. And of course, if you always want to support what we're doing, you can hit me up on Cash App, $ Rob Carpenter 2, on Venmo, and PayPal at Rob Carpenter 2. You can also hit me up with the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever it is, on Coinbase at Rob Carpenter II. Also, be sure to support our sponsors, My Patriot Supply. Also, Teach Hanley. Don't forget Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. Looking at y'all. And you get 40% off on your first order and 20% off life. That boy still look like a baby almost, boy. Look at that. You got to keep it right. Shut up. You got to keep it right. So, that's Teach Hanley.
I just ignore him.
I
said I just ignore you.
Oh, that's all right. I love it. But listen, thank you so much for your support. It'll be, again, we look forward to the next time that we'll see you next week on Real Talk with the R&D Diva, Pastor Robert. Good night, everybody. Say good night, Diva.
I'm doing it right now. Peace.
All right. Peace out. How important is it to take proper care of your skin? Now, in my opinion, having a clean and healthy skin is something every guy really should focus on. But here comes the question. What is the right product for me? Teach Hanley, an uncomplicated skincare company for men. Get your first box, 40% off plus a free gift, and 20% off for life at Teej.com/TheRCTVNetwork. That's TIEGE.com/TheRCTVNetwork.